forward to meeting you over at the bar here pretty soon. So
right after this.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd like to hit in 5 years, be doing 100 million, across the country.
I think it's very challenging for anyone new to get into this industry, unless you have, millions of dollars that you're willing to risk.
Because we took them in when others shut them down, they're going to be there to stay with us.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us for our second episode of MiCannaPulse. We are reporting live here from Power Connections in Novi, and it's been a great show so far. A lot of great information being shared. I'm here today with my co-host Jamie Cooper.
Hello.
Hello,
Everyone. So far, a great show.
Yeah, good turnout. Lots of good information. Derek always never disappoints. It is filled with a lot of decision makers here. Derek definitely knows how to get the right crowd in. That's what really makes events what they are, is who attends. And this is the 6th or 7th year, I think you said on our last show.
Yeah.
So congratulations once again, Derek. We look forward to meeting you over at the bar here pretty soon. So
Right after this.
yeah, exactly. So,
Well, and it's kind of like this show has grown so much. Like I remember that very first one, and now we have like 500 people here today.
Yeah.
So it's really grown. In fact, he outgrew his original space at the Townsend Hotel.
Yeah.
And now we're here in Novi, and just a really great crowd. A lot of decision makers here, and I've enjoyed all of my conversations with everyone.
yeah, I mean, this is his second year here now, so it's good to see the growth. It's good to see the participation and the networking. Right?
Yeah.
That's the key here. And Derek's middle name is networking, so he will ensure that it gets done. But this is actually, interestingly enough, not only is this our second live broadcast, but this is our first time ever being an exhibitor at an event.
Right.
So this is a very different experience for us, being kind of being on the same side as all the other exhibitors and vendors here, and it's a pretty cool perspective. And I actually have a much greater appreciation for being on this side of the table versus running around like a crazy person for 12 hours straight. So it's I have a lot of respect and appreciation, even more so now, for all these brands that see the value and participate. So
Yeah.
it's been a great experience so far for us, and I'm really glad we decided to do it and collaborate with Derek. And we were honored enough to have our logo on his graphics. So we talked a lot, we strategized a lot, we really had a lot of deep conversations about events and this event, and I'm glad everything worked out well for him. So yeah, next we have, obviously in a short week or 10 days, we're going to be in Vegas.
And you're going to be running around for 12 hours straight.
Right.
Just like Derek was today. And I mean, this event came at such a timely time, but it came at the right moment. There's a lot being discussed here today, that there's discussions about the possible federal legalization. Obviously, we're talking a lot about the 24% tax that is about to hit our industry starting January 1st. The hemp thing since our last show, that went down.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's a game changer right there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of balls in the air. There's a lot of important topics that are being discussed right now that are definitely going to, each one has the ability to drastically change the industry. Exporting is an interesting topic that's been mentioned recently.
Yeah.
We'll see, what happens with that. Obviously, you have the COD bill that is another very, very major topic that's being discussed right now that is going to also make an impact. And then you have, a market that was evolving and not necessarily for the better before that, and a lot of these things are just going to accelerate some of the things that are already happening, kind of shake the industry out a little bit more, which, I mean, there's a lot of people in this industry that, I think a lot of people would agree maybe don't need to be in this industry. And I don't know that, the bottom 20% are going to make it,
Yeah.
and that's, a lot of them are probably are on their way out already. They just can't afford one more big blow. So, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of things going on. And what do you have going on? I want to let you talk now. Ooh.
Well, I mean, it's been a great day, and I guess we can get to our first sponsor. We have some great sponsors, by the way. Thank you guys for supporting our show. This is our second broadcast. And, if you want to sponsor the show in the future, let us know because we're looking.
Yeah, we're always looking for new sponsors. It's very cost effective for right now, and gets will be included in our social media posts and as well as emails. And our first sponsor who I want to give a shout out to is Community Choice Credit Union, and our good friends over there. They have been great supporters of ours. Community Choice has been helping neighbors for 90 years. And for the last 6, Donna Bashi has led their cannabis business program. As Vice President of Business Development, Donna is familiar with the needs of cannabis owners and strives to make banking easier for them. Donna brings traditional banking expertise with a credit union heart, opening doors for every business and keeping everyday banking easy. So thank you, Community Choice.
Yeah. Thank you for the support. We really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, so we wanted to give everybody a reminder that we do have our Motor City Meets Sin City in Vegas coming up on December 3rd. For those of you that are going to be at MJ BizCon, that is from 9 to 1. We still have sponsorships available and tickets that can be purchased. As a matter of fact, we are having a discount flash sale this weekend, where if you go to our Facebook group, I'm sure you'll be able to find a link somewhere or an old email that'll show the different opportunities that we have for Motor City Meets Sin City. While we're at Vegas, what else we doing?
Well, and we want to make sure grab your tickets now because pricing does increase next weekend.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So,
Because all you people that are getting there late, you're gonna,
Right. Of course,
sorry. Yeah.
Of
Being
course,
late costs money.
we'll be taking money at the door, I'm sure. So,
Before the door, yeah.
Right,
Up
but
into but
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
Vegas
yeah.
is always a great time. There's a lot going on out there. Like today, I've talked to so many people that are going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, I can't wait.
Somebody actually mentioned to me today that they think that we're the only state that has our own Michigan Motor City Meets Sin City party.
Wow.
So I had no idea. I figured
Yeah.
other states have to be doing it, but I
Yeah.
guess we're one of the few or one of the only.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
I used to do it at the Stratosphere.
I know you did.
So
yeah.
like we've been,
So-
Michigan takes over Vegas. We do.
We do.
We represent.
Well, they represent. They come strong, and they love to hang out. So it's a good combination for us. But we also are having our Michigan State Takeover. That is on Thursday at 11 o'clock in the North Hall, where we will have the stage for an hour to talk about the cannabis industry and have a national audience, kind of, right? So we're excited about that.
Everybody's talking about Michigan.
Yeah,
But we are a great topic of conversation.
yeah.
so.
I mean, we're still the second largest market by revenue in the country, and people still are opening up new grows, new dispensaries. There's some closing, obviously, but there's still people that believe in this market. So but that has to tell you something.
Yeah.
So
We talked about that at lunch today.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people still investing in Michigan and opening up businesses, and there's a lot of businesses for sale and
Yeah.
up for grabs
Absolutely.
at a really discounted price.
Definitely. Yeah, it's you know, we need less production in this market, and people are feeling the the pinch. There, a lot of people are one bad harvest away from closing the doors, unfortunately, um, and people, a lot of people are thinking about their exit strategy, and in many cases, unfortunately, you know, their only exit strategy is the physical assets that they have, and because chances are, their businesses are closing, and even the ones that are open for business, that do reasonable business, don't are not going to get uh, whole on their investment. So that's that almost keeps people in this industry because they're hoping for a better day where
Yeah.
they may be able to sell for more, right?
Right.
But
Right.
but who knows if and when that's going to happen?
Yeah. Well, I hope the consumers really enjoyed that discounted pricing that
Yeah,
they've,
yeah,
they've been
right.
getting. I mean, pricing unfortunately is going to go up, but it's
And the other
there's
part of it is they're kind of like telling the consumers that the caregiver market is going to become more difficult to navigate, also because of potentially new or old criminal, going back to arresting people for having, an insignificant amount of weed.
right,
So
right.
we're going backwards there for sure. Nobody wants to see people going to jail for having personal amounts of weed, and between that, we've been growing weed for decades,
Right.
right? So will
Right.
it stop them? I don't know. I don't. I'm sure it will stop some that are don't want to take their chances. So we're it's kind of a very interesting position that this market is in, both on the black market and on the licensed market. Um, you know, that's it's a very weird time right
It
now.
is.
Uh,
It is.
but
Well, we got some guests to get to now.
yes, we do. First on our show, um, we are going to introduce Corbin Yaldoo, from the president and founder and owner of C3 CRE. Okay, we are here with not just my good friend, but my new broker and mentor, Corbin Yaldoo, founder and owner of C3 CRE and Corgo Ventures. Thank you for being here. Great to have you.
Thank you, Harry.
Uh,
Appreciate it.
In case you didn't see the recent announcement on the Facebook group, full disclosure, I, as well as Mike Lumetta, have recently joined the team at C3 CRE as cannabis real estate brokers. But we're not here to talk about me. Congratulations on all your success at such a young age. You've received many awards and accolades for your accomplishments, including D Business 30 in your 30s in 2025, which is kind of a big deal. Tell us about your background, what you did before you started C3, and kind of what inspired you to start your own brokerage.
Sure. Appreciate it, Harry. Thank you for all the kind words, and glad to have you and Mike aboard. This is only the beginning, and it's going to be a bright future together with lots of deals. And in relation to my background, I'm 35 now. I've been in commercial real estate since I was 21 years old. Got started at a very young age, and had a heavy focus in traditional retail real estate and land deals for the first half of my career, now being about 15 years in. And over the last half of my career, I've been heavily focused about half my time on all different commercial assets, and continue to widen my spread of industries beyond just retail and land. And also brought in the cannabis industry. Cannabis has been very fruitful for me, and we continue to dominate the Michigan market, and have done numerous transactions outside of the Michigan market, and we'll continue to expand our wings. Prior to starting my own company in the middle of 2022, I spent about 5.5 years with one local brokerage, and then another 5.5 years with Mid-America Real Estate. Uh, and in that time, I've also been involved in a few of my own projects within the cannabis space. Currently a partner in Gatsby Cannabis in Royal Oak, Michigan, where we have a retail and processing facility, and spent a lot of time on a lot of my own projects in and outside of Michigan.
Great. What do you think? What would you attribute your success, and what do you think separates you from what separates you and your company from others in this space?
Having a heavy focus in cannabis definitely differentiates our brokerage compared to other Michigan brokerage or national brokerage companies throughout the country. And not to be cliche, but it's our work ethic, it's our character, it's our integrity, and us doing a great job servicing our clients. And I think that ends up ultimately continuing to get us to the finish line on transactions and bring in new business and repeat clients, because they trust and appreciate how we care about their best interests and not just trying to make a buck and a commission.
Yeah, I mean that's very important. Obviously, it's really the basics, right, of being successful in business: follow through, execution, integrity, and obviously do way more than that. But that's the core foundation and fundamentals. Obviously you've had a lot of success. Tell us about some of your struggles and your journey, and what you had to what you did to overcome them.
Sure. I think any entrepreneur that is climbing to the top or is currently at the top, within any of industry that they're in, understands that it's not what happens to you in life, it's how you react to that. So we all deal with different adversity, whether it's adversity within the workplace or adversity on a personal level. So there's plenty of different examples I could give you, but I think at the end of the day, it's just having grit and having a resilient mindset of keeping God in your life and keeping that number one. And that's what's gotten me to continue to get through, any hurdle. And that's the joy of the journey, because nothing great comes easy.
Amen, brother. Let's talk about this industry a little bit. And on the real estate side, we've had many of these conversations before prior to us connecting. But what are you seeing in the Michigan market in terms of transaction activity right now? Would you say it's up or down compared to last year? And what do you see going forward in the foreseeable future?
Sure. So I would definitely say 2025 transaction activity is greater than 2024. There's continued to be heavy consolidation with your larger operators looking to expand and pick up your smaller operators, or people just outright selling and those facilities trading to non-cannabis users, whether it's traditional industrial warehouse users or traditional retail developers or owner users acquiring these properties, because things are back to traditional real estate pricing. And I expect the same upkeep in activity next year as consolidation continues. And a lot of that will be happened, subject to Tuesday's vote on the 24% tax and how that's going to impact, wholesalers and retailers from top to bottom. And, we'll see what happens over there between now and the end of the year in relation to that. But with or without that tax, people are looking to, expand or get out. Retailers are looking for cultivation and processing to help service their own brands. And cultivators and processors are looking for retail stores to help service their own brands, because, like any industry, vertical integration is how you sustain long term.
And that's how mergers and acquisitions happen, right? Because it's easier to acquire than it is to try and grow organically every everything that you do, all the with every aspect. So, well, how attractive right now and appealing is the Michigan market, to MSOs coming into this market, whether it's retail, processing, cultivation.
Sure. So I think really that just depends on who you're talking to on a national level and what a buyer's appetite is. There are some MSOs that are already active here. Such as TerraSend, and very prominent MSO, completely exited the Michigan market. I helped them with numerous off-market transactions, helped consolidate their assets over the last 6 months, and through that you see that people still want to be here, whether it's local players or national players. I think with where valuations are at today, whether they're at the bottom or going to go up or going to go down, your, buyers that are looking for value add see that there's still opportunity here to expand, as long as they have the right infrastructure here and they're willing to compete with our local players. There's a lot more value here in Michigan than in some more emerging markets where people are paying millions of dollars for licenses and not necessarily seeing their return for years to come, or eventually going, upside down.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we all saw what happened here in Michigan with people paying an exorbitant amount of money for licenses. I mean, look where we're at now. So, that business model, you're kind of you're basically handicapping yourself for future opportunities and sustainability. So, obviously, right now, for anybody to come into this market, they got to buy right. They can't make the same mistake that their predecessors made and the existing operators made in some cases, which leads me to the next question is, how, what kind of creative deal structures, trends are you seeing on how to get a deal done today versus yesterday?
Sure. So, I think that now more than ever, you're seeing receivership transactions, and I think depending on what happens with this tax, that may or may not open up the doors for more of those opportunities in 2026 and beyond. But in those scenarios, the people are buying distressed existing facilities, and they're making money right away the day they buy them based on their basis within a transaction. Those are all cash transactions generally, unless the lender is willing to, go do a new loan term with a new borrower. And you're going to continue to see tons of, cash deals because cash is king. I think it just depends on the dollar amount. You're not really seeing many cash transactions above a $5 million transaction of a price. And if you are, the borrower is bringing in a lender, and rates are, at a minimum 8, 9, 10% or above. And a lot of that is where a lot of these operators got into trouble. And beyond that, you'll continue to see seller financing transactions or some sort of earn-out transactions where people are merging and doing an earn-out because they don't want to completely walk away and lose their entire investment. They'll bring in a JV partner and gamble on the earn-out of that transaction. But Michigan's really not a market where you see too many earn-out style deals. I think it's cash and seller financing, and that's the quickest way to get to the table. But I do believe that 2026 will be the year, especially if descheduling continues to become on the horizon, where you will see more M&A activity here in Michigan with larger transactions that are north of $10 million with retail portfolios or vertically integrated portfolios transpire into transactions.
So, profit margins are down, valuations are down, real estate pricing is down, the price of flower and distillate are the lowest in the country. Competition is still fierce. We have a massive oversupply of product. I could go on and on. What advice would you give somebody right now that's interested in getting into the cannabis industry that doesn't have any cannabis background?
I think it's very challenging for anyone new to get into this industry, unless you have, you know, millions of dollars that you're willing to risk and dedicate 110% of your time and have a full team in place. It's going to be very challenging for you to get in this ever evolving, complex industry. So, I would recommend if you're new and you really have the finances to get into it, don't do it on your own. Go make the right network and relationships, and partner with the right people, either it's brands or certain operators or investors.
One of the many reasons, obviously, that attracted me to pursue this opportunity with you was your knowledge and how you got to the top, but also how you managed to stay there. Corbin, thank you for joining us, and we appreciate your insight and perspective on the state of the cannabis real estate and merger and acquisition market.
Yep. Thank you, Harry. I
All right,
appreciate
you
it.
got it.
Thank you.
We're excited to announce our next show sponsor, Beamer, a global leader in custom smoking accessories since 2010. Available in over 30 countries, Beamer specializes in custom cones, paper packs, glass tips, and grinders, trusted by top brands including HOD, Jars, Wild Bills, King of Buds, Seed Junkie, and Beyond Green. Known for unbeatable pricing and unmatched customization, Beamer continues to set the standard for quality and innovation in the industry. We're proud to partner with a company so dedicated to excellence, value, and the spirit of American craftsmanship. Well, I am joined by our next guest. We have Ryan Basore here with Redemption Foundation and Redemption Cannabis. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jamie. Great to see you as always.
Good to see you. Well, before we dive into all the information about your company and a foundation, tell us a little bit about your story. You have an incredible story. I think you could hear it.
All right, I'll give you the shortened down version. So, it was about, I grew up in a small town southeast of Lansing called Dansville, and I worked at a farm, and I fell off a tractor when I was 12, and I really screwed up my back and my hips. 2 weeks later, I got a prescription 3 times a day for Flexerol as a 12-year-old, and it really messed me up. I discovered cannabis a year later when I was 13. It did everything that Flexerol was supposed to do without the side effects, and then I had to hide it. I was, related to everybody, and you're in school, and it's the 90s or 80s at that point. So I kind of got weaponized and started learning about cannabis, talking about William Randolph Hearst when I was 14 years old. And fast forward to 2008, we passed the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act. I was one of the first patients and caregivers. I'd been growing for fun and, using obviously the whole time medicinally. And quickly, I decided I want to do this the rest of my life. So I opened up the second dispensary in Lansing. It was in May 2010 as Capital City Caregivers right on Michigan Avenue. Danny Trevino opened the first one. And then I also set up a caregiver grow in Okemos. And at that time I got into it. I left my career in insurance because I saw President Obama and Attorney General Holder come on the news and say, if you're following state law, we're not going to raid. So I'm, all right, let's do this. And Colorado had exploded at that time because of that. And, so at that caregiver grow, we got the local police, the state police, and the county prosecutor all to sign off on it. And then we had lawyers roll it up. So we were rolling. And it was December 1st, 2010 at the caregiver grow. We got raided by the state police, the DEA, the FBI, the ATF, and the National Guard. Granholm had actually approved troops to raid our grow, and they got 40 plants at that grow. So I was outraged. I even went on Channel 6 the next day, told everyone to get effed. And for the next 2 years, I got followed by either Black Hawk helicopters, police, cars. I'd get pulled over off the record, shaken down, take whatever I had, say crazy stuff to me. And even had they would send a Chinook every quarter over my house out in the country and just hover over my house for 30 minutes at a time, just on runs. So, it was middle of December. It was middle of 2012. I got raided at my house real bad, and I came out of the basement, had red dots all over me. They had me lit up, and at that point, over the next couple hours, I realized we were going to get indicted. So it was about a week later, we got indicted, 7 of us, including my now brother-in-law and father-in-law, for conspiracy to manufacture marijuana. I was going to fight it till the end. I didn't understand how the federal system works. 99% conviction rate once you're indicted. I ran out of money even before I made it to trial, and I never forget it. My lawyer called me and said, "Hey, you're going to plead guilty this week and get 4 years, or you're going to go to trial and get 5 to 15, and they're going to indict your fiance." So at that point, I pled guilty and went down FCI Morgantown, West Virginia. I did the behavior modification program, got out a year early, halfway house, and was right back in the mix when I wasn't supposed to. And that's when I met you during the 15 MI legalized. So, and eventually I did get off probation in 17 with an apology even from the judge. And I was off and running. I was doing a lot of consulting at the time just because I'm a felon. I can't be under the Medical Marijuana Act, MMFLA, that was passed. So just consulting and opting in communities, flipping properties, hustling, and eventually, we passed the, Prop 1 in 2018. And my part of that was that felons and marijuana felons can participate, but also get rewarded. So I'd always planned on starting a brand and was getting ready to. And then one of my clients at the time, Gage Cannabis, I knew those guys from back in the grocery store days. They gave me a $50,000 grant, and I didn't take any partners. I used that and started with 10 stores in Michigan, and I was just me, and I had a card table with no skirt, handing out joints for vendor days, and 5-6 years later, we're a top 10 brand in Michigan. We're in about 400 stores. We've now expanded into Oklahoma, Maryland, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, soon to be Ohio. And I merged completely with Driven Grow, my good friend Drew Driver, about a year and a half ago. So, it's going well. And the other part of that is, when I was coming up, once I got rated in 10, that's when Bill Schuette really started attacking everybody. And we would see kids being taken away by CPS, and we were raising money for lawyers for everybody. And when I got back out and had a chance to start a company, I wanted to continue to do that. So 10% of my licensing fees have gone to the Redemption Foundation. And we've done 2 things. We have our Rick Thompson Memorial Grant off of my good buddy. And that goes out and it helps either families that are traveling to see prisoners. We've done holiday drives. We've helped expunge over 2,000 records. We do the Michael Thompson Clemency Project. We've been giving out grants in all the states we're in too, the groups that are doing the work. The other thing I'm most proud of is our commissary program. So when I was in prison, still this way, $300 a month is the most you can spend. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but you're balling out if you're doing it in prison, because my first job in there was cleaning one of my unit's bathrooms for $14 a month. And if telephone minutes are 50 cents, you eat that up in a hurry. So for the last year and a half, almost 2 years, we've averaged between $10,000 and $20,000 a month we're putting on the books of 200 federal cannabis prisoners. So that's the story in a nutshell. And and here we are. So almost 2026.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's an incredible story. It's a very inspirational.
Thank you.
So how do you balance, running a business and then also having the social justice initiatives? Like, how do you balance both of these things together?
It's obviously it's not easy. I'd like to give more time to both, but it's really been able to starting to build the teams, the people. When I merged, I'm really good at a couple things and bad at a lot, but I understand that. So just getting the people in place to take over the things that I'm not doing well, and getting a great partner. I've had horrible partners in my lifetime, and I've got a great one now. So you embrace that, and that is a focus of mine for 2026, is to be able to get more involved in the foundation. I'm heavily involved now, but there's a lot of things we still would be doing as we spread nationally. There's a lot of these bigger companies that I haven't been able to even approach yet about donating to the foundation, which we will. So a lot of growth, that, and having a family, and taking care of yourself. So as you know, it's not easy, but the balance is coming. I feel like the the 80-hour, 70-hour work weeks are behind me, and I'll do it if I have to. But it's going good.
And the other states that you're operating, who have they been? You as citizenship.
It's a lot different. I'm in states besides Oklahoma where I would have never been able to get a license. In fact, in PA, I'm not even allowed into dispensaries or the grow because I'm a marijuana felon. So, yeah. So like our plan here is like in Michigan, we're getting as lean. We think we're growing our cannabis. We think we're growing it probably for less money than anyone in the state or close for the quality, and that's what we're doing here. But the other states, we partnered with True Leaf, and and they've been incredible. It's a licensing agreement like I first had in Michigan with Driven Grow, and so it's allowed us to go in there without any capex and grow our market share across the country. And the compliance, we got the DOH and in Pennsylvania and the OMH and Maryland, and like you can't call it like I got Candy Mob here. We can't. It's Cindy Mob here and Cindy Mob, or like and you can't say got good felt. There's no rhyme or reason. It's a lot like we've dealt with in Michigan, like when they just throw arbitrary rules out, and we're about to be in Ohio too, another state where I wouldn't be able to operate, but because of the brand and the licensing agreement, it does. Luckily, we've got compliance people and lawyers with our partner, and they've been through it all.
Is there a state that you felt like they've done it right?
I think the state and Maryland, I think is probably Michigan's my favorite state and always will be, and I think we did it right to give everybody a chance. Obviously, it's tough, but Maryland, I go there, and the MSOs, you're only allowed 3 dispensaries. You can't have 20. Sorry, you can't have 25, and so like it's 3. So there's a lot of locals and people that remind me of Michigan. Like the different like. There's one guy there. Our number one account is Real Leaf in downtown Baltimore. Those guys remind me of like Ryan from Bazanzo's, and just the similarities. So everyone in Maryland is like making money too, so it's nice. I go out there, everyone's positive, happy. They think their price compression's horrible because pounds are 1,800, so so Maryland, it's wrecked. It was a ballot initiative, so it's a pretty good one, and and they're proud of their weed and they're proud of their culture. So as far as non-Michigan, I would say Maryland.
Okay. So in terms of social equity here in Michigan, what do you think needs to be improved or changed with the preferred?
It's tough. So like, you give somebody a grant, it's helpful, but like, what do you still got to go out there and do the business? What does that look like? Retail any of the licenses cost a lot of money. So is it a brand? But then you have the right. There's all these pitfalls. I don't necessarily have the answer to that as far as getting people into the business. As far as restorative justice, it's like we need to get everybody out of jail and prison that's in it for marijuana. We've got to like clean. Even I tried to join a swimming pool at one of the high schools, a public one where some of my friends go to swim. I couldn't get in there because I'm a felon. I'm getting rejected. I'm still life insurance. I had to answer. Do you in the last 10 years, as I use marijuana, have you ever trafficked or distributed marijuana? I'm like, yeah, every day. Couldn't get regular life insurance. So, I know for me, restorative justice on that end of it is something I'm kind of more focused on. And then once we get everyone out of jail, then it's trying to help them get back on their feet.
So what's next for Redemption? Obviously you're continuing to expand into other states.
Yep.
But 5 years from now, what do you see?
We're trying to get as good as we possibly can in the next 3 to 5 years, to where if someone took a look at us, they think we belong with anyone in the country. So Ohio is next. It's the first quarter. Ohio's a great market for us because we have friends that were in here and like super good in Michigan. They have one of the busiest stores in Ohio, Northeast, Jams. The Ohio market, a lot of the buyers respect the Michigan OG game a lot. They've been coming up for a lot of years, and a lot of them were caregivers, and they end up going down there. So we're excited about that. And then the next move of that is Florida. True Leaf has a third of all the dispensaries in Florida. 1 million square foot of canopy, and getting into there is a big deal for us. So we're trying to grow our, our wholesale sales up, and we'd like to hit in 5 years, be doing 100 million, across the country. A lot of that's licensing, so we're doing well, but just continue to do this. For me, I want to continue to hire people to where all I'm doing is selling weed and talking about weed. That's it. That's my dream job, and I think I'm going to be there in a year and a half, 2 years. So like that's it. I was freaking out for the last 2 years, thinking I'm not gonna be able to sell weed anymore, and I was getting depressed about it. But now it's been an epiphany that we'll just get the people to do the jobs, and I'm not that great at it anyway. So just let me sell weed.
No, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story, and congratulations on all the success.
Thanks.
Impressive.
Great to see you as always, and appreciate you and Harry as well.
Thank you so much.
So, all right.
Are you tired of guessing which brands to trust? Consumers deserve true quality. That's why you should choose Gold Crown products. No shortcuts, no gimmicks. Gold Crown offers the cleanest cannabis products and are trusted by more than 300 dispensaries and their consumers here in Michigan. So thank you, Gold Crown, again for sponsoring today's show.
Okay. We are here today with Donna Bashi, Vice President of Business Development with Community Choice Credit Union. Donna, thank you for being here. It's always great to see you and to speak with you. I really appreciate everything you and Community Choice Credit Union do for the industry and all the support that you've given us. And we truly value our partnership with you and appreciate everything that you do. So many people consider you to be if not the OG, then one of the OGs in this industry, in the cannabis banking field. So tell us about the road that got you here and what role you play with your company.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me.
You are?
Thank you.
You
I
are?
appreciate that. And you know what? Honestly, you've been such an amazing support person to me. When I started cannabis banking, everyone said, you got to get in front of Harry Barash. He is the person. So I'm
now you stop it.
honestly, no,
Oh.
I'm honestly so honored to be sitting here with you and doing this and supporting you. You've always been so supportive of everything
Well,
we do and
we-
helped us.
We appreciate working with good people and great companies and people that give back and so the feelings are very mutual, and I always try to send people your way, and that's how relationships evolve and get started, right? So
Vice versa, we do the same. And a little bit about us. So our credit union has been around since 1935. I've been in banking for, oh my gosh, 25 plus years. Started my career when I was 20. Thought, you know what? I worked in my dad's store and he kind of kicked me out, and said, you need to find yourself. So I started banking and then kind of was in sales and then went into management. And then I worked for big banks, First of America, National City, PNC, and then wanted bigger, Bank of America. And then actually just met our CEO at Community Choice Credit Union, kind of just at my kid's basketball game one day. And the most humble guy you'll ever meet, super nice. Our kids went to school together. He kind of introduced me to the credit union way. Best thing I ever did. I will never discount my banking days, but I feel the banking days, the big things built me to who I am. But the credit union, you're not a number, you're a person. And he kind of just trusted in me, and I opened up one of our member centers in Shelby Township, and then went off to be what's called an AVP of retail, which almost like a regional manager over many of our member centers. Currently, we have 23 member centers in the state of Michigan. And then after that, we started thinking we needed to help the industry. So we wanted to start something new. And so we knew there was a need for cannabis banking. So he knew that I knew people in the industry because everybody was always asking me, do you do cannabis banking? So we started our cannabis banking program 6 years ago. Have about 860 open and active cannabis related accounts now.
that's amazing.
Honestly,
you.
people trust us. It was all based on referrals. And so when I started the program, we were just really looking for pilots, and the pilots trusted in me, and my number just kept circulating. And you gotta call Donna. And so I was offered a position that we didn't have. And I took a chance on it and said, okay, I'll do it. I mean, I was nervous, but I remember our CEO saying one thing to me because I was scared and I really liked my current position. I said, well, what if I don't do good? He's like, Donna, you'll always have a job in my book. So I took the chance, and fast forward, like I said, 6 years later, helping so many people in so many different ways. And I'm very proud of all the hard work and dedication
As you
and the
should be.
chance that I took.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's not easy, right? Especially going into the unknowns, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't really come from a cannabis background necessarily, so it was not just an unknown industry. It was you didn't have any knowledge of it,
None.
and for you to kind of navigate that, and you built it on integrity. You built it on hard work, um, and not people didn't really judge you based on your background in cannabis. They judge you based on your character. So
you.
you have you as long as you have that going for you, then you'll always be able to be successful in businesses. Because a lot of people don't have integrity. And what are some of the obviously you guys have traditional banking, and like tell us about some other products that you guys offer that some people might not be aware of, or any new products that you have going on right now that might be of benefit to the cannabis industry.
So coming from big banks, I know, I'm just going to kind of go over like the Bank of America products that we can pretty much offer anything they could. As far as like our e-banking, e-deposit, treasury services, positive pay, remote deposit capture machines. We even started a whole money service business, which some people know it as MSB. So we have investment services, we have youth accounts, traditional business accounts, mortgages, home equities, and we can help everybody in the cannabis industry, including commercial lending. So a lot of times I go out to visit a lot of our retail stores and educate the employees on, you can have a loan with us and not have to worry about getting hit by cannabis funds. And so they're like in shock, like I can't even get an apartment because I can't get a bank account, or I've been shut down 17 times. We can help you.
Yeah. I mean, you're not just for the cannabis industry, obviously, you're also for, the employees of the cannabis industry, as well as, everyday people that are outside of the cannabis industry. So, I know the lending is kind of tightening up. What are, you know, some of the minimum, requirements to qualify, for some type of commercial cannabis lending these days, and how difficult is it to get a loan?
So we're still lending. We've never stopped. We started lending from day one. We've helped a lot of people kind of build themselves and become bigger and bigger and bigger. I think I'm not one of the lenders, but we do have 4 dedicated lenders to support, and I do know high level own the real estate, open an operation with at least 1 year of positive income. Sometimes they can give you the lines of credits. Credit cards, we do a lot of credit cards, especially
Great.
for people that have like the armored cars, or they need to give their drivers a credit card. So
Sure.
we've definitely been able to supply a lot of those needs. But if anybody's interested, our window's here today as well, and we were able to kind of get them in front of a lot of people to help change
That's
their
great.
lives.
What are some of the different, there's obviously a lot of, good credit unions out there. What would you say are some of the biggest differentiators that sets apart, Community Choice Credit Union from, others in the industry?
So we are, and I always loved this because I used to think, okay, credit unions are for loans. But honestly, you're going to get lower rates typically. But we are people helping people. So we're never salespeople. We're always people helping people. Like earlier today, I received a call from a lady, and she was really interested in getting a loan and a new account. And I said, well, let's lead with lending, because I want to make sure he can help you. That's your primary focus. I'm not going to just sell her a bank account without being able to provide that. I ask a lot of questions to really understand their needs, because I'm not trying to be a salesperson. I want to help them. I wouldn't want anybody to do that to, for example, my kids or
Absolutely.
myself.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, obviously there's a lot going on in the cannabis space right now, from from the increase in taxes, and, the hemp bill, and, obviously, one of the things, the COD bill, one of the things that obviously could impact or make good or bad, I'm not sure yet. But if the Safe Banking Act gets passed and there's access to traditional banking and lending, how do you think that will affect credit unions in general going forward? And, where do you see community choice and credit unions in general in 5 to 10 years from now?
So honestly, because we started this program and we helped so many people, we still see it now. I got shut down and closed my kids' accounts. They pulled my loans, at the tissue store banks. So I feel like because we always have lower rates and we're able to support them in many ways. I feel like because we took them in when others shut them down, they're going to be there to stay with us. I've
That's
already heard
amazing.
it from other people. Why would I want to go somewhere else? You helped me. You saved my business. You provided me a debit card, a credit card, a loan, a mortgage, whatever that is, when everyone else didn't want to. So in my eyes, I would stay loyal as well. If I got shut down somewhere, I don't want to take the chance that I could possibly get shut down again. We know we use like a really good compliance program called Shield Compliance. Even on the non-cannabis side, we have all our bells and whistles in place. We literally provide white glove service. We have dedicated teams in all different areas that are specialists to help all of their needs.
That's great. I mean, you have to obviously provide a great service, though, what you guys do. One of the reasons why I joined, and I get to see it firsthand, the amazing level of service. It is truly sets you guys apart from others, and these are all great points that you're making, because number one, you'll still be competitive with your rates. You'll still be competitive with your loans. You'll still be competitive, even more so competitive, right? Than in the service, and that's always that's always going to that's a business model that always is going to be sustainable. So, what advice would you give somebody, a cannabis business and employees, on what are the key things to look for in a credit union, and maybe some red flags that maybe some credit unions have?
So honestly, convenience and access. So we learned real quick, COVID hit everyone hard, right? We learned real quick. We have to update all of our processes. So we are able, like I had somebody call me today, I need to send a wire. I'm out of town. I need this urgently. Don't worry. We can pin drop you. We could DocuSign. We'll do it all remotely. We have strategies in place to really make it convenient and so when you're asking about all the others, I don't necessarily think everybody has that convenience and access aspect of it, because they're in shock, especially new people that come on board. But like, really? Or if they need a debit card increase, yeah, sure, we can increase it for the day, because maybe they get a better deal if they just pay right now,
Right.
or they're at Costco buying computers, or they need an increase. We don't want to leave it at a high rate because it's an increased risk to them. But yeah, we can help them together.
Well, these are all very valid. Makes perfect sense. Very valid points, and not everybody offers this, right? So that gives you guys a little bit of a competitive advantage on top of all the other great things that you guys do. So from where you're sitting right now, can you if you could just summarize in one sentence, because we all have a different perspective from where we're sitting. Summarize in one sentence, what you are seeing in the industry, good, bad, or indifferent.
I'm seeing a lot of stress. And I'm really hoping that things just kind of smooth out. And it's hard. It's hard because a lot of our members have become like family to me. A lot of them are my family, and it's hard when I see them, worried about January and worried about all the changes coming. So I want to be there to just really help them as much as I can. But I'm not going to lie, I am worried about things too. Just because, not for us organizationally, but just for them, because that's their income, that's their livelihood.
Absolutely. Tell us something positive that you're seeing in the industry.
Positive. Honestly, that we've helped so many people. It is so cool when I see, somebody 6 years ago with one store and now have 15 stores, and they say it's because we were able to help them. We were able to give them a loan, or just things like that. Or I don't know, it just makes me so happy, that I see, that their kids open accounts with us, or just things like that. It just makes me so happy, the expansions.
Donna, thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for taking the time to tell us in detail what happens behind the scenes. We appreciate you being here, and we're gonna see you at MJ BizCon.
Yes, can't
Yeah,
wait.
yeah.
I can't wait. The best event.
Awesome.
Honestly, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
everything.
This wraps up our show, and we look forward to coming to you guys from Vegas in about 9 days. So that's a wrap.